I'm not anymore, no.
Okay.
Thomas, can you make me co-host?
All right. Okay, there. I thought I had, but it's not. And here's the link to the video for you. Then I'm gonna put it in the chat, Soraya.
All right.
So we're excited, Betty, that Paul Lau is going to join us on one of these on July 12th. So
I saw that on the schedule.
yeah, I appreciate his making some time available.
Yeah, he's definitely super passionate and excited about getting the message out and sharing with the community, right? Just the direction that we're going.
Right.
And, his interest in collaborations and partnerships are really apparent. So it'll be good for everybody to hear directly from him.
Yeah. Well, and people are eager to hear that. And there was a good session yesterday on community partnerships. Let's see. So Shiloh, I think, hosted that one. And
Was that our partnership summit that you joined us?
yeah, the partnership summit.
Yeah. Well, this will be a repeat.
That got a lot of interest.
I'm sure. Good. That's great. That's good.
Okay. Oh. People are coming on.
Yep.
Good morning to those who have joined. Susan, Rula, Laura.
Yeah.
Good morning.
Ah, there we are. You're a Sacramento angel this morning.
Yeah, I forgot I was on their Zoom, managing their Zoom last night. So
It's okay. So that's interesting. The software you have to blur the background.
it's just a Zoom feature.
Probably something I should look into.
Yeah, if you could do it yourself, Gary. If you go, where the video is, and there's sort of a caret and up arrow next to the video camera at the bottom. And and then go to choose virtual background. And then pick blur.
And welcome, Peter.
It says virtual backgrounds, none.
Hello.
Yeah. When was the last time you updated your Zoom software, Gary?
Oh, I don't know, about 1820.
Well, you might want to do that.
Okay.
Not right now, but after the meeting, just choose to update it.
All right. So we are live on YouTube, and we are going to be sharing that on our different channels. So we'll probably have people joining us there. We're going to give 1 or 2 more minutes for people to come in, because we had a lot of sign up and a lot of people comment that they were coming.
Yeah.
But they're all different people.
Yeah.
Well, it's just now 9, so.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure Jeff is going to join.
Yeah. Betty, people have established that it's appropriate to be fashionably late by 5 minutes. So there should be a whole bunch of people by 6 or by 9:05, but.
Totally understandable. We do the same thing on our side. We give everybody a few minutes just to, transition in from other meetings, and other meetings run late, and it's totally understandable.
Yeah.
Well, when you had to drive places, you gave yourself like half hour, like buffers and everything, and everyone showed up on time. Now it's like, oh, it's 5 minutes before the meeting. I think I can go get coffee.
It's only a 30-second walk.
Yeah.
Well, I get this like anxiety, like, oh, I don't want to join too soon. That's rude, because the person who's starting the meeting, if they haven't started it yet, they get a notice that you've joined the meeting. And, so I set an alarm. I actually have to set an alarm for like 2 minutes before the meeting to try and like get there at the right time. So, but then well, I'll say it, I'm screwed if it's on the Microsoft Teams platform, because it takes forever to load that on my computer.
Yeah, that does take extra time. Oh, there's Ingrid. Welcome, Ingrid.
Yeah, the downside to giving people 5 minutes to show up is that now you'll train them to be late. And
I know
the meeting-
it's
yeah,
it's Pavlov's dog, right?
exactly.
Well, it's like I want to train them to be early, but at the same time, when we record it and have it go live and people watch it there, it's like, what's the punishment of showing up late if you can just go watch the full thing?
Yeah, that's true.
You usually start pretty close to on time for these,
Yeah.
Thomas. So.
Well, I like to give the our guests time to speak.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to kind of start off our Clean Start perspective today. I'm Thomas Hall, Executive Director of Clean Start. And for those of you here, I want to encourage you to follow us, especially on LinkedIn. We're getting close to 1,000 followers there. Jump in there, follow us. We're constantly putting out content, sharing videos. Like this one will be shared there, so you can go in. Remember, what exactly did SMUD say? What insight did Betty Lowe provide that I might have missed? So go on to LinkedIn and follow us there. Additionally, we have Twitter, Facebook, a YouTube channel where this is live, and Instagram, which we don't really do anything there. It's just an Instagram. So welcome to this Clean Start Perspective supported by Sac State. Today we welcome Betty Lowe, project manager at SMUD. Clean Start Perspectives are supported by resources at Sac State. So if you're an entrepreneur, connect with Carmen Law at the Carlson Center, Kayvon Shafizada, interim dean at the College of Computer and Engineering the College of Engineering and Computer Science, and assistant dean Jawa. These are also sponsored by SMUD, Weintraub Tobin, Blue Tech Valley, Moss Adams, and my first cup of coffee, but in this case, just caffeinated beverage, is brought to me by Pim Motion. And additionally, I would like to thank all the people who support us and donate to us throughout the year. If you want to support Clean Start, I encourage you to go and sign up on our PayPal. Additionally, some quick announcements. We have upcoming Clean Start Perspectives this month with In Charge, winner of the UC Davis Big Bang competition. We have our Clean Tech meetup on water. Next month, we're talking with Paul Lau, CEO and GM of SMUD. Additionally, there's a lot of exciting programs right now. Open Capital Beta, Valley Ventures Accelerator out of Blue Tech Valley. They're accepting applications now. Lacey has various startup programs. Going to Market is one of them, and they focus on how you can become a community partner with things like LADPW, which is a skill that probably could be replicated in working with SMUD, being that they are a municipal utility. And also the Shine Awards. Coming soon, Cal Seed, which, by the way, at the recent California Energy Commission business meeting, they approved extending Cal Seed and the innovation clusters for another 5 years. So this is going to be an opportunity for you to get that seed funding for your business. And if you're wondering how to stay on top of all of these, make sure you subscribe to our newsletter, check out the latest updates from Clean Start, and look at our blog. And another reason to follow us on LinkedIn and be one of our, hopefully soon, 1,000 followers. I would like to welcome Betty Lowe, Project Manager for SMUD Sustainable Communities Program and the Shine Awards. Betty Lowe says she likes to fly below the radar. However, she puts on this great program that helps nonprofits and recognizes them, helps them try something new that can build into something great. And with that, I'm going to stop sharing and let Betty Lowe take over.
Thanks, Thomas. I appreciate the invitation to join you. Thank you, Gary, for allowing us some time to share about this really great resource we have. with our Shine Award process. I do have a PowerPoint, so I'm going to go ahead and run to that so we can get us started. There we go. Oh, everybody can see this, right?
Yep.
There you go.
Awesome. So
Get
thank
a
you for
little
the
bit.
time to join us on this. We are super excited to launch into our 5th year of the Shine Award process with SMUD. This will be our fifth round of funding that is happening, that opened on June 1st and will go all the way until July 30th at 5 p.m. We have an open platform on SurveyMonkey that has the application. Also during this period of time, we are hosting 6 webinars. Our first 2 webinars has already, oops, start my video. Oh, the first 2 webinars have already happened, and there's 4 more webinars coming up. And so I encourage you to join us for a webinar and get the full depth 2-hour process of what our project looks like. You'll get a good snapshot of that today. And I wanted to share with you some of our background as to how the Shine project has come to life and how it fits in with our sustainability, our sustainable communities priorities. We've all done a little shifting this year with the zero carbon clean energy focus with SMUD, knowing our 9-year sprint that's quickly becoming an 8-year sprint as we get halfway through the year already. But we're really making some great progress in making sure that we are communicating as effectively and as inclusively as possible to our community and community partners, and sharing where our vision is going, sharing where some of the steps where people can lean in and be very engaged with our process as we move forward. And so wanted to be able to share as part of the SMUD Sustainable Communities Department, Shine fits under through these 2030 priorities, right? Our main one really is around equity and innovation. We cannot do this without our partnerships. And a huge part of the work that we do is in collaboration with our community nonprofits, and that's where a large part of our relationships happen. A lot of our, I know our economic development team is here, our workforce development team leads are here, and you know, one of the best things that we have going for our collaboration is our relationships and our partnerships with our community. We see that continuing, we see that growing. We only want to expand that, especially around the clean energy focus and the clean energy world. For me, there's a lot of growth opportunity there, right? Especially using Shine as our platform. We've had the opportunity to support our nonprofits in a variety of social well-being and health metrics and workforce development metrics. And this is our first deep dive into the clean energy world and what that looks like. And as we know, our community is really diverse and very vast. And so keeping in mind, we want to be inclusive and equitable with the steps and the education and really meeting our communities where they are, and bringing our community and our customers along for the ride, right? We see this great 9-year plan, but we also know that everybody lands in different places as they arrive on this continuum of clean energy. We want to be honorable with that. We want to not push anybody too much out of their comfort zone. We do know that there is some comfort zone stretching as we go, and there will be some need to move forward and to be creative and to be innovative, and we want to encourage that. And the Shine Awards is really a part of that process to encourage that innovation and that piloting and that testing for our small nonprofits, our medium-sized nonprofits, and our large nonprofits. Because it really is about partnerships and collaborations, right? Moving together. It's our longstanding goal to be committed to that safe and reliable power as part of SMUD, but it is also the power of our community and the power of our partnerships that drive us. We'll use mapping and metrics. I'm sure all of you have seen our resource priority maps, and I'll refer to that in a little bit. We do want to do a metrics and baseline and collection in 2021. And likely that will lead into parts of 2022 as well, but we got to know where we are, right? We can't measure our growth if we don't know where our baselining is. And so a lot of the work right now is creating some baseline measurements, talking and collecting with nonprofits and other subject matter experts in the field about where we are, what we can measure now, and what we hope to measure as we include project goals and steps for our future, looking at our environment, the environmental justice piece, really how do we capture that data and how do we show that there's that growth and that incremental improvement. And hopefully we'll see that as we grow and as we dig deeper and our relationships get deeper, collaborations get more effective and more sustained, we'll see a large jump in that ability to collect and report that baselining. Our regional workforce development will always be a strong focus for us in SMUD and with sustainable communities. We can't do this work without without supporting our community to fill in where all those huge gaps will be around our clean energy future. We need our community to have the access and the opportunity to get into job trainings and job creation. The workforce development piece is a large part of our focus. I know Susan's on the line and can speak to that and has spoken to that many times with this group. The SHINE award process is a part of that. It's an entree into that workforce pipeline. We do want to create long-standing relationships and more collaboration with our regional workforce pipeline. And if there's a creative pivot, it's something that you've wanted to try in your workforce development world and you haven't had the opportunity to really kind of branch off and figure out how to do that with a little bit of funding, the SHINE award process is a great time to try that and to test that out and to give yourself some room to grow and stretch, right? So there's a lot of room for that in this project. We'll talk about metrics again in our sustainable communities world. We have 6 large pillars and focuses within our sustainable communities metrics alignment. You'll see a lot of our nonprofits throughout our region, especially in our clean energy, you can see yourselves identified in at least 1 or 2 or maybe even 3 of these pillars. And so you'll see that there is a focus, there is some lanes where we overlap. There are, so we tried to be as transparent as possible in understanding where do our SHINE applications and our SHINE applicants fall into this. We do ask that our SHINE applicants pick and choose where they think the majority of their project will land. We also know that many of our nonprofits are very skilled and they're very comprehensive in their service and very complex in their service delivery. So you may fit in 2 or 3, even 4 of these pillars, and that's fantastic. We also know that some of our nonprofits are very specific and they see themselves solely in one of our pillars, right? And so it's not either or, it's really a blend of both. We really want to have the collaboration and the coordination, and we want the complexity of our nonprofits to really be apparent and showcase what they do well. Stay in your wheelhouse, stretch a little in that wheelhouse using best practices, thinking about cultural relevance, language capacity, parts of our community that are underserved and underrepresented that could use your best practice and stretch and blend a little bit. And that could lead you to a different cohort or a different pillar. And so if you see yourself in 1 or 2 or 3 of these, that's fantastic. If you see yourself in your service providing in one, and you do that well, that's fine too. But we want to be really open and transparent in seeing the breadth of what we're looking at and the depth of our commitment to the community, not only this year, but moving forward for the next 9 years as we move towards the 2030 plan. Here's a little snapshot of our resource priority map. I'm guessing we don't need to dig into the map a little bit. I think if we do, we could probably talk a whole 15, 20 minutes on just the map. But I wanted to at least provide you the link to the map if you're interested in it. It is a fantastic interactive map of our area that gives you lots of layers to dig into. There's 8 different metric points, and that also sources where those metrics come from. It really gives you an idea of where our resources are, where our gaps in resources are, where some of our school-based programming and their free and reduced lunch rates are, so you can see some of the parallels and overlaps in some of our data and metrics. We talk a lot about our promise zone and our opportunity zones that are highlighted. We also know that just because our legend is structured in a way, there's a high sensitivity, a medium sensitivity, and a low sensitivity, it doesn't mean that anything in a low sensitivity area is not in need. We understand and we do know that there are still needs in our low sensitivity areas, It just depends on what the layer is and what the metric that you're specifically looking at that creates that legend. And so I don't want it to discourage anybody who may see themselves in a low sensitivity area saying, well, you know, we're in a low sensitivity area, we won't be considered for an award. That is not true. Some of our low sensitivity areas are some of our as well are under resourced parts of our community because of just the geographic need, right? So it's a little bit difficult to have lots of land around you and not be able to get to public transit, right? We know there are parts of our community in the outer outskirts that are in the green, but have very little access to public transit and access to mobility. And so it doesn't mean if you're not in that red section that there is no need. It gives you the opportunity to educate the readers and our review committee as to what those needs are. And it really is an opportunity to tell your story, tell your history of your nonprofit, tell your impact that we know that has been happening for many, many years. It gives us the opportunity to learn a little bit more about what your specific nonprofit has done in your focus area. Our program guidelines are also listed on our website, and that is our website to not only our application, but our guideline, our webinar sessions. It's all on the smud.org/shine. I would encourage you to look into that as your starting point. It gives you a great overview of the funding categories, and it also gives you live links for you to shoot off to all the different places that you need to go. But the program guidelines would be a strong place to start so you know exactly what you're looking for. So let's talk specifically about our SHINE program award and the guidelines. We are looking for any incorporated nonprofit organization serving within the SMUD service territory. So that keeps it very broad and open, right? We encourage a lot of collaboration and partnerships, and we are looking for one lead, although we know there are many in collaboration and partnerships to deliver services. We are looking for one lead to be the applicant to then submit the application. We are funding in 3 categories. We have a Spark Award that is around $5,000 to $10,000. That is the general guideline. The Amplifier Award is $10,001 up to $50,000. And then our Transformer Award is $50,001 up to $100,000. So our cap is $100,000 for any particular award. And our baseline, our base is really around $5,000. We've funded a few that are around the $3,000 or $4,000, but those are less likely to happen. But again, if you can deliver a fantastic program for $3,000 or $4,000, please let us know. We're happy to support that. It doesn't mean you can't submit an award for under $5,000, but we generally that is kind of where we are looking for a base. The difference between the 3 also include some of the timeline. Oh, we'll go backwards on that one, sorry. Some of the timeline for these, I don't know if I can go back. Can I go backwards here? Let's try. Oh, no. Sorry about that.
Might use the keyboard arrows.
Oh, no, we'll just click through. How about that?
There we go.
We'll start over since I've already gone too far. In our Spark Award, we are looking within the SHINE program. We do have a match funding requirement. For our Spark Awards that are $10,000 or less, we do have a 50% match. We're asking for that 50% match, which means that the organization is providing 50% of whatever you are asking for. So if you're asking for an $8,000 award, the expectation is you would have a $4,000 match to go with that. So your project could be supported in true partnership. The Amplifier Award and the Transformer Award, that is a dollar-to-dollar match. So if you're asking for a $25,000 Amplifier Award, the expectation is that the nonprofit has $25,000 as a match. Now that match can be, again, parceled into cash as well as in-kind. And it's a 50% in-kind ceiling for any kind of in-kind match. And so if you have a $50,000 project, you're asking for $25,000 from the SHINE Awards, you have $25,000 either in-kind and cash as a combination, or in cash as the match for that award. So as we move through, you'll see the strong collaboration and partnership of that is also part of the investment, right? We'll give the investment to the nonprofit, half of it upfront at the beginning after we sign the funding agreements and MOUs, and then we'll support support and fund the other part of the second half of that funding near the end of the project lifespan. Right? The SHINE program is really an annual cycle. So we are looking to fund in 2022. Although we are only in June of 2021, we are asking you to think about the future a little bit and think about what 2022 will look like and deliver the project from January 2022 until December 31st of 2022. So it is an annual cycle. And that's designed purely on the inside of SMUD and how the SHINE awards have been designed the past 4 years and moving forward. So every year we'll go through this opportunity around the June, July timeframe. You get 8 weeks to apply for a future project. We spend the rest of this year, 2021, in review process. There's 3 or 4 different reviews as we go. There's the initial review, a committee review, a subject matter review. We do have our executives review, and then there's also a board review. So we kind of go through the full transparent process of everybody in SMUD having an opportunity to take a look at the applications and then decide how we're going to support our community in the upcoming year. And then by the end of November or December, we will have a strong cohort that we'll move forward with, and I'll get to send out some really great information to say, yeah, we funded you for 2022. Oh, well, here it is. So this is what I was talking about earlier. The cash and in-kind, the in-kind cap of 50%. Our Spark Award is our 10,000 or less. Amplifier and Transformer is a dollar for dollar match there. Talking about our pillars of services and our clean energy solution. I know that is the focus of our collaboration here with Clean Start. We really want to encourage our community and our nonprofit partners to really look at where our community is, meet them where they are at, and provide that education and that opportunity for growth, right? Ideally, we could all say at a certain point in our lives that we will put solar on our roofs and we will adopt EV vehicles and we will carpool and use public transportation. We will look at our food sources and green spacing and tree canopy, and we'll do it all at once. And we know that's not physically or financially plausible to do that with a flip of a button. That's why we have an 8 or 9 year sprint that we're talking about. And we want to be able to support our community where they are and get them clean energy ready, get them EV ready, get them solar ready. And that could take a few years to get people to where they need to be comfortable and have the capacity and have the resources to lean into that effectively and with a long-term sustainable idea and project, right? So a lot of it comes from education, a lot of it comes from learning and mentoring and learning about what other people are doing, seeing how it fits into their lives. I think as technology improves and resources become more available, our community will have different parts to lean into at different times. And our community and our customers and our nonprofit partners get to choose at what point they want to lean into that continuum. We know the continuum will be there, we'll be supporting it, but we know that people all pop in and pop off at different times. And so we really want to be respectful in knowing where do you fit in. If people can look at their lighting, if they can look at their LED lighting, interior and exterior, if they can go to solar lighting, that's helpful. All of that matters. All of that fills into our environment, right? If they can look at their air filters, if they can talk about CO2 monitors, especially for our senior community, that's really important for our seniors. Adding ceiling fans, right? No one's asking you to go out and swap out your gas water heater today or put in an induction stovetop today. But what we do know that in some of our homes that those will naturally need to be swapped out and need to have hiccups and fail. And when they do, the option and the education to support that, to make a clean energy choice to move forward is where we can lean in, right? So we kind of wait for that perfect opportunity and have those conversations around what does their HVAC system look like? What does the water pump, electric water pump look like? And does that bode well for your home? We do have some induction stovetop gurus and some very powerful advocates in SMUD around induction stovetop. And so that will always be a happy place to talk about it if people are interested. but it also takes effort to get us there, right? And it takes a commitment. We will always talk about tree canopy. We love our partners at the Tree Foundation. We want to encourage our younger generation, our elementary school kids, our middle school kids, our high school kids, our youth, our college youth, our seniors, to be creative with how they think about tree canopy, right? Is it something one of our seniors and one of our kindergartners can get together and talk about planting a tree together and making that a family legacy? Does that mean we can impact parts of our South Sacramento corridors that have very little tree canopy and creating that green spacing that will fit and can be longstanding and sustainable for our future? So we want to encourage all of these things that happen within this space. I've talked a lot about collaboration. That will always be a funding priority for us. The underserved, under-resourced communities. We've hit on the resource priority map. We've talked a little bit about achievable and measurable outcomes, and the project timeline, right? We are still looking at 2022 as the deliverable for Shine Awards. So we're asking you to look into the future a little bit. It's only June now, but before we know it, it will be October and November, and in a quick blink of the eye, it will be January of 2022. And hopefully we will have the opportunity to reach out to some of the nonprofits on this call or listening in through the various platforms and talking about what their clean energy solution project could be and where we can collaborate and partner together to start making a bigger impact on our community around this. And I think I am done, and I am right on time with 2 minutes to spare for questions.
Excellent. Thank you very much. There were some questions that were in the chat, and I know
Okay.
Susan helped answer some of them. But Laura, do you
Great.
have any questions that you wanted to ask right off the bat?
Yeah, I was putting them in so I wouldn't forget them. So I have a question about a project that's submitted by collaborating organizations. If the lead organization is a nonprofit, do all the collaborating organizations also need to be nonprofits, or can for-profits collaborate with a nonprofit?
That's a great question. We do see a blend in the collaboration pool. So we do want our primary eligible lead organization be a nonprofit, but we know that the collaborations are rich and deep. And so yes, your collaborative partners do not need to be nonprofits.
Okay.
They can be for-profit, they could be public entities, they could be, part of the city and county structure. Some of the programming pieces, as well as some of the funding pieces, can be through the collaborative partnership. You'll have the opportunity in the application to also share specifically where part of your process is your collaborative partner. Some collaborative partners are purely in the ideation phase, some are in the program deliverable phase, and some are in the funding phase, right? So they're willing to give you some of your match money, and those don't necessarily always are nonprofits. We want our lead organization or responsible organization to be a nonprofit.
We also have a question from Corey Ring Martinez of Good Alternatives. Are past awardees, how are they looked on favorably, less favorably? How are they looked upon?
It is an even playing field moving forward. Every year, it's a fresh start for everybody. Grid Alternatives obviously is one of our sustainable communities partners. And so we love them and we love what you do. We are looking for something new and different than what you have done in the past, right? And so this is the opportunity to be creative and be thinking outside the box and maybe taking a best practice and going to a different place, whether it's a different part of our region, different part of our community. It could have a cultural pivot, a language pivot, an under-resourced community pivot to a best practice that you already have in your wheelhouse. But we are looking for something new and different and not supplanting any kind of staffing or programming that is already existing.
So I kind of want to highlight that because you had talked in our talk the other day, you had mentioned something very similar, that the goal of Shine is to kind of provide, I guess, I'm going to use some, startup vernacular, seed funding for a new idea.
Mm-hmm.
And then if you have something that you want a new in the nonprofit area that helps in communities in Sacramento, that this is an award to apply for. Now, kind of with that, what were some things that set apart past awardees that was like, hey, this is the new thing? What are some things that set them apart in your?
Well, that's a really good question. I know last year we did have a very strong COVID pivot, right? So, amidst of, I came on in March, or I came on in April, right at the beginning of the COVID pandemic, and we were all sheltered in place. And a lot of our nonprofits who were either in process or moving towards process, all of a sudden didn't have human engagement, right? And so they had to really significantly pivot how they were going to deliver services. When we opened the Shine Award last year, we didn't necessarily put out that we would fund a COVID pivot for services, but naturally the nonprofits knew that we were in a long-term pandemic, and they took their in-person work and created digital platforms to do that, right? So rather than doing tutoring or mentoring in a human one-on-one physical space, they found platforms to do that virtually. They were creative in access points, right? It wasn't just accessing during the academic school hour. Now they were accessing almost 24 hours a day because it was available, right? And having staffing and being able to pivot, having language capacity, making sure that digital accessibility was something that was available. We did lean into the digital accessibility space pretty significantly last year, and that was new for us and that was different, ensuring that our underserved and under-resourced community had laptops, had Wi-Fi, had kind of that capability to log in to even have access to engage. So that would be one.
Laura,
Betty, it looks like there was one more question from Laura, whether and entrepreneurship training that supports startups is considered workforce development.
I think I'd have to learn a little bit more about what that means, but I think we can have a dialogue around that. I think workforce development can look very different and be very creative. And so it's hard for me to say yes or no without looking at what an application or would look like, but I would definitely be open to it. And I said, let's have a dialogue around it so we can learn more.
And Laura,
and Laura, I see your hand up.
Yeah. So, so Betty, how would we have that dialogue? Because Startup SAC is considering applying for a Shine Award that would help, train people who want to start their own businesses.
So the webinars are a really great place to start, right? So if you sign up for one of the webinars, we do have 2 Q&A sessions kind of right in there. And so I think there's an opportunity there to ask questions and kind of dialogue about where the fit is. I think if you want to dialogue with me individually, we can connect offline and have a conversation of what your ideas are and where you see your fit. I won't do any program planning for you. I won't do any kind of design for you, but I can share with you the process, and I can share with you we can break down the program guidelines and look at the metrics to see where you think you would naturally fit and how you would showcase that story and tell that story in a way that we as the review committee goes through it has a clear understanding as to what your goal is and where your metrics are.
So with that, after the Shine Awards, does SMUD provide feedback to applicants?
We do.
Okay.
I am open and available after applications are closed and decisions are made to meet with anybody post award to talk through your application.
Okay. Gary, do you have any questions?
Yeah, the 4 webinars that are upcoming, can you just review the dates for people on that?
Sure. The next one will be June 25th at 3 p.m. After that will be July 7th at 1 p.m., July 16th at 9 a.m., and then the last one will be July 26th at 3 p.m. That's the Monday before the applications are due on Friday. Okay. So there are 4 more sessions to connect with us. Also, I'm available. You can email me at betty.lowe@smud.org.
We'll make sure to share that out. And if you do go to the site, you can go and sign up for the awards here.
Look at that.
Yeah. So
thanks, Thomas.
Yeah. And with that, do we have any last questions, comments, hypothesis from anyone in the audience? We did actually have a lot of people tune in live, so.
Yeah, and there'll be people that watch this afterwards, and certainly Clean Start would be happy to collaborate with anybody out there in the startup community, the clean tech startup community, if you have a project idea, and we can come together on an application to put that in. So please look at this as a business opportunity for those of you who might have a way of going about this and focused on a community. So keep that in mind too. And then we, of course, will be reaching out to other of our partners to see what we can put together on this. So I assume you can make multiple applications, Betty, as a nonprofit?
We encourage you to be a lead of one application. So if you are a lead agency and you want to apply for a Shine Award and be a lead for one application, that's encouraged. That does not preclude you from being a collaborative partner on someone else's application as a lead. So you want to kind of make sure you're focused and you know where your biggest impact for our community with your strongest collaboration moves forward as one lead. But definitely, I know resources are scarce and collaborations can be multifaceted. And so being a collaborative partner on someone else's lead is absolutely understandable and encouraged.
Right.
But I would agree with you, Gary. I'd say use your resources, use your experts in the room, being creative and collaborative in the process from the very beginning with an idea, especially looking at our resource priority map and looking at where the gaps are and being strategic geographically as well as service providing and being really strong in your metrics with this collaboration and the rich resource that you have on this collaboration with Clean Start. It would definitely lean into and take advantage of.
Yeah, and we'll look forward to doing that. But Betty, we thank you so much for doing this explanation this morning. I think there are a lot of people that know a lot more about it now than before. It's good that the deadline is July 30th because you've given us quite a challenge in putting these things together. You said this is the 5th year of doing the Shine Awards. Did any of the prior awards really stand out as sort of best in class things that worked well to give people ideas of what they might have proposed this time?
Well, what's unique is every year there seems to be a little bit of a pivot, right? So Shine within SMUD has moved around from different departments. And as each department has taken over the Shine process, there's been a little different feel or focus, right? Last year when I first came on, there was really the COVID pivot, but also a deep commitment to the nonprofits that had strong collaborations. And so, right, our street soccer is a huge one right now that has launched and has put up night lights, right? Fantastic night lights right across the street from our CV Circle on Broadway corridor where they're doing street soccer. We are a huge fan of theirs. City Year has been really fantastic with education pivoting with our under-resourced community and youth. Juma has also been a workforce development with our foster youth and our community coming out of human trafficking, really working with our youth in that way, giving them workforce development skills with our arenas and in some of our food service businesses, getting them some hands-on training, as well as then exploring the option of STEM-related fields and getting them prepared and ready to access some of our 2-year community college programs, as well as our job training and tech programs, moving our community that are moving out of foster care and out of human trafficking into those spaces to be ready to kind of take the next step. We are, rich with our sustainable communities partnerships around grid alternative, with our Promise Zone, doing some really good work around energy efficiency and solar career pathways there. I could go on for another half hour talking about how great our partners are. So let me stop there. I've been very lucky to have 29 amazing partners. It's all on the website. I would say also all of our past awardees are on our website from the last 4 years. Everybody is listed, everybody's name, the organization name, and a short blurb as to what they have done and what their proposal has been pitched and funded is on our website. So please feel free, that is open and transparent for you to look into and dig into and get an idea. And they would all be open to chatting with anybody about their project.
Okay.
All right.
That's
Thank you
great.
very much. Yeah.
You're welcome.
Round of applause for Betty and the help she's given us all.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thomas?
Thank you for the invitation.
All right.
Sure.
Thank you very much, Betty Lou. Thank you very much, SMUD, for putting on the Shine Awards and letting Betty come and discuss them with us today. I also want to thank everyone for attending and encourage you to stay connected with Clean Start. Also join our Clean Start Perspective with In Charge next week, our perspective with Paul Lau, CEO and GM of SMUD, and our Clean Tech Meetup on Water, June 24th. We're also hopefully looking at having a Clean Start Tech Perspective on concrete, hopefully on the 29th, which should be really exciting. And I also want to give additional thanks to our program sponsors, Hacker Lab, Momentum, Reverent, and Greenberg Tower, and our community of partners out there. Thank you for attending and have a good hot day. Stay cool. Remember,
If you-
flex your power. Flex your power.
Yeah.
If
Flex
you-
power alert throughout the
Hydrate,
state.
hydrate.
Yep.
Super
If you
cool
haven't
early.
followed us on LinkedIn, go to LinkedIn and please follow us.
Thank you.
Thank you.